The Rams start the season 1-0. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show, right here on L4 Media, as the Rams dispatch of the Parrots of Polytechnic 49-14. Man, when you start fast, it sure makes it a lot easier. As the Rams, they dominated that first half. 21 points immediately, 2 of them defensive scores. The offense, you saw multiple guys get the ball. This was one of the best halves that Mineral Wells has played since head coach Cody Worrell came aboard year and a half ago now, start of the second season. And you're starting to see it. You can see the difference. Even last year when they started out 2-0 and had 2 convincing wins, you could still see there was a lot of, false steps and a lot of, hey, we're not quite sure if we're supposed to be lined up here. And in this game, at least, for week 1, it was miles different than it was last year. Now, you've got a big test this week as 3A Iowa Park comes to town. And, of course, they're a program that's only been 3A this is the second realignment. They were a 4A team forever. They're always big. They're always physical. They always play really sound ball. And this is going to be a great test. I think it's a test that the Rams will pass, but it will be a great test as you get into, week 2. This is where you want to start cleaning up those penalties, start cleaning up some of the execution, and you want to start building that ladder, as coaches say, or as Jason Garrett used to annoyingly say, the building blocks. It wasn't what he said, it was how he said it. But the building blocks of your season. You don't want to be at the top right now. You want to play well, you want to win, but more importantly, you want to keep growing as a team, and I think that's what you're going to see with Mineral Wells this week. Want to thank our title sponsor, Jack Powell Ford. You can find them online at jackpowellford.com. And the cool thing is, if you go there, you can get pre-qualified. You don't have to give your social security number. It's not a hard credit hit, but it will at least give you an idea of where you're at and what you can afford. So you're going and you're not wasting your time. And that's the one big thing in today's world. We're all so busy. We're all doing 1,000 things. You want to be able to say, hey, I want to go online. I want to look. I want to know what I can and cannot get, so I don't waste my time. And then you can go look at their great catalog of vehicles, whether it be their, Ford trucks, the Broncos, which, man, there are a couple colors I have seen over the last few weeks. Those Broncos just absolutely look wonderful. A friend of mine has one, and they're just ecstatic with it. And you can do all that at jackpowellford.com. You can also give them a call if you have any questions that they can't answer online, 940-654-2714. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's the head coach of the Rams, Coach Cody Worrell, right here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show, now joined by the head coach of the Rams, Coach Cody Worrell. And, Coach, first off, congratulations. 1-0. You get the big win over Fort Worth Polytechnic, 49-14. What were your thoughts on that game?
I was pleased with the way our kids, their effort was. We played fast, played physical, still had some penalties that we've got to clean up. Going into this week too, just couldn't, offsides penalties and holding penalties that we've got to clean up. But overall, I was pretty pleased about how our kids performed.
That first half, that's literally one of the best halves that y'all have played since you've gotten there.
Yeah, no doubt. We got up on them quick. We had 2 defensive touchdowns. It was 21-0, and 2 of our touchdowns came on a pick six and a scoop and score. And so we got up on them quick, and that's been a big focal point for us is starting fast and trying to, don't start off slow and try to play catch up, get ahead early and keep the pedal to the metal. So
offensively, what did you think?
I mean, we got some kids that, I don't think anybody had double-digit carries. We had 7 different guys score touchdowns, and we rotated backs really well between Caden Montalvo and P.R. Mendez and Cassius Johnson. That rotating carries with those guys, they did a really good job, and we're all 3 effective in different ways. Thought Owen threw the ball really well, and Prez Harrison and Caden Caspar did a really good job of catching the football, and our offensive line played well. I was pleased with the way our offensive line played as well.
And, you're not going to throw the ball 1,000 times, but when you have a guy like Prez Harrison, it's got to feel like even if you get him the ball 15 times a game, you're still not getting him the ball enough.
No. Coach Clay, our offense coordinator, I'll be in the game, and I'll just tell him I want two touching the ball. I want two touching the ball because he is. I mean, he's a specimen, and he's big, and he's a matchup problem for people, and we've got to take advantage of that. And just handing him the ball, getting the ball in his hands in different ways is something that we're trying to focus on. Because he can run too, and we just got to find ways to get him the ball.
Well, and you talk about it, y'all had so many guys touch the ball. And when your offense is going well, that's what y'all like to do. You want many guys in where the defense can't focus on one guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That and keeping people fresh, keeping running backs fresh. All three of those running backs that I named, they're all key contributors on our defense. And so being able to rotate those guys in, keeping them fresh where they're not playing, every single snap of the game is a big benefit for us.
All right, you're 1-0. Now you're going to host Iowa Park. They're a 3A team, but they've spent so much time in 4A. And as you know, they're built like a 4A team. They're big.
Oh, absolutely. We played them a lot of, for years when Coach Sims was there and when we were at Brock. And I always tease Coach Sims. I actually talked to him on the phone this morning and was asking him about a sub-varsity game for later weeks. And he asked me who we're playing. I told him Iowa Park, and he goes, "What do they look like?" And I said, "They look like Iowa Park." They, when you see them on film, they're big, and every time you think that they're graduating, those kids, they do a great job in the off season, and they're from left to right. They're up front. They're 280, 250, 235, 250, and 300. They just got big, strong kids, and it's going to be a big test for us. And they're physical. They do a really good job. Their coaches do a really good job of making you cover from sideline to sideline and getting their playmakers the ball.
When you look at your program now, you've been a full year in, and this is a year in one game. Where do you see your program?
I just see it. I mean, I would say that our kids just know the expectations. And they understand, from a pregame meal to preparing before a game. I just feel like our offense and defense, the base stuff is installed in our kids' heads and minds and things how we do things. It's not new to them, and they're prepared. And I'm not saying that they weren't prepared last year and those guys didn't do a good job. They did. It was just new to them, and it's not new to these guys anymore. It's fresh on their minds. So that's a big step, where our program is right now.
Well, it's one of those things is that the kids are starting to fully trust what y'all say is going to happen because what y'all say usually happens.
No, exactly right. And just understanding what we're trying to do offensively, what we're trying to do defensively. Our kids are just all in and they understand the expectations.
Do you have a kid that plays sports? Are you yourself a weekend warrior? Then I'm going to tell you something. Check out NeuroGuardPlus.com. That's NEURO guardplus.com. It's a mouthpiece that can not only help with concussions, but can dramatically affect the way you perform. And the mission of NeuroGuard is to, of course, reduce the risk of suffering a concussion when participating in any contact sport, military, anything that you're doing physical that you could take a blow to the head. You might want to put in a NeuroGuard mouth guard. And as I said, it not only helps eliminate concussions, it helps you perform better by simply aligning your jaw properly. And that sounds like such a simple thing, but it is so important because it allows oxygen to get to your brain. And when you get oxygen to the brain, you don't have that fog of sports or that fog of war where you get confused. And if you've ever played football, that's a sport where that can happen. Especially, man, you're in there in the trenches and you take a shot to the side and all of a sudden things are spinning. This mouth guard will help you keep focus by, again, simply keeping oxygen going to your brain 100%. Again, check them out, NeuroGuardPlus.com. And if you play sports, if you have a kid that plays sport, if you do something physical, one of the things that Dr. Hutchinson, the creator of this, was talking about was some people will use it when they're doing yard work and when they're mowing and things like that, where they're being physically active because they know it helps align their jaw and it keeps oxygen going to the brain, which also helps your lungs, by the way, when you can have full breath every time as you're performing. So again, check them out, NeuroGuardPlus.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball.
As always, I want to thank Coach Worrell for joining us here on the Jack Powell Fort Mineral Wells show. Reminder, just a real quick one. After this week the game's on Friday, but then the next 2 weeks the games are on Thursdays. Now the great thing is they're home games, but I did want, just in case you had forgotten or anything like that. And if you're listening to the show, you probably know, but just to be safe, the Eastern Hills game and the Quinlan Ford game next week, and then 2 weeks from now, both are on Thursday nights. Other than that, it's going to be a fun night of football, I think, this week. Temperatures are absolutely amazing for this time of year. I mean, wow. We were in East Texas, and on Friday, after the rain, you didn't quite need a jacket, but it wasn't too far off. And the way it looks like the weather's going to be laid out for the next couple weeks, if it holds, is you might actually need a jacket in a couple weeks by the time the end of the game. So you can't hate on that too much. By the way, we still have room for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor Mineral Wells Coaches Show, just email me, Terry at S2SSport.com. I'll tell you how you can do it. Just put in the line Mineral Wells sponsorship. Also, if you have a question for me, for the coach, about the Rams, about the schedule, about 3-4A, about 4A in general, email them to me, Terry at S2SSport.com. Always, you can check out our 4A show. Grant Goodwin and I talk the whole state of 4A each and every week. We also do a show for 3A and a show for 2A, sideline to sideline. Our 17th year of doing those shows. We did our first in-season show last night for 2024. Had a blast. Had some issues on the 4A show on my mic. I know what the problem was. I just had it was one of those nights where the first two shows everything was going great, and then on the last show, and the last show is always interesting. It's late. We've been there all night. We're just ready to go. We had some streaming issues, which then delayed everything. And in the process of trying to fix it, I accidentally kicked my mic down, so you actually don't hear me as well. You can still hear me perfectly fine, but for me, it was bad. I will get that fixed for next week. All right. Week 2 of football this week. It goes by so fast, folks. That means we'll be talking about week 3 next week on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show on L4 Media.